Mercedes have just revealed new information on their creation and plan for the W15. And anyone who has been following Mercedes in 2024 would have noticed a more muted approach. So these new comments have come as a surprise for some. Toto Wolff's contract renewal was revealed in an exclusive interview rather than a press release, and the W15 will be introduced at Silverstone, with no interviews scheduled for the team's 3 key faces. It provides the image of a heads-down, get-to-work attitude, and with the W15 poised to be dramatically different, Mercedes is putting all on the new design. If one season may be viewed as a blip, and the second as the fallout from that, the third year is when poor form becomes a pattern. Mercedes' performance in 2022 plummeted, going from dominant to disappointing with a W13 that was not as inventive as they had planned. The Sao Paulo triumph gave them false hope that they were onto something, but the first few laps of 2023 proved them wrong. Mercedes did, in part, go back to the drawing board with a B-spec car debuted in Monaco, but the nature of the cost cap meant it would always be a band-aid rather than a permanent solution. The team acknowledged this, and over the summer break, concentrated on the W15. But a lot depends on the W15, and so far the messages from Brackley have been favourable. Wolff said that Mercedes simulator driver Anthony Davidson said the car felt like a car for the first time in 2 years, and that the team boss was certain it will be the car that helps to propel Lewis Hamilton back into title contention. However, stating it is one thing, creating a quick car on track is another, which is why Mercedes hopes their personnel restructuring will pay off in the next season. James Allison may not be as well known as Hamilton or Wolff, but the British designer has had an equal impact on the Silver Arrow's success. Allison joined Mercedes in 2017 following a second spell at Ferrari, and he went about developing a car that would continue to hold the competition at bay. He was the technical director for the W11, which many consider to be the best car in Mercedes history, but in 2021, he transitioned from the front line to the more general job of Chief Technical Officer. Mike Elliott replaced him, and what was the first car created under his watch? The W13. With the W14 failing to considerably improve, Mercedes decided to transfer senior positions, with Allison returning to F1 in April 2023, but there was nothing he could do to save the season. That implies the 2024 car will be the first designed entirely under Allison's supervision since the W12, the last competitive Mercedes. If rivals McLaren have been hailed for bringing in 2 senior staff members, Allison's return to the fold might be the season's biggest acquisition. But Allison leads the line while Mercedes ventures into the unknown. Unlike Red Bull, who had 2 years of data to refine its design, Mercedes pulled up the plan and started again. Of course, wind tunnel and simulator data reduces the load, but as we saw in 2022, what a computer says does not necessarily match what happens on track. From the outside looking in, it looks that Mercedes is in a make or break position with their new design. On the one hand, it may function wonderfully and challenge them once more, but there is a serious chance that the W15 will become just as problematic as its predecessors. However, Allison explains that it is not only the design that is evolving, but also how Mercedes approaches design. To the mind of a designer or a performance person in F1, concept is actually nothing to do with the car, he told Sky Sports F1 in an interview. It's about a process by which you decide what good looks like and what bad looks like. It's your methodology for sort of sieving out all the many things you might put on the car and finding only the ones that you really think are going to add lap time. It's method. The car itself is just the output of that method. So when you talk to us about concept, we're hearing, what, you think our wind tunnel weighting system wasn't right? And we've changed that, or our way of meshing in CFD was wrong and we've changed the concept of that. That's what concept means to us, and the car just pops out at the far side of that when we apply that process and that concept. So, of course, the last 2 years have required us to adjust our approach and our methodology, our concept if you will. And as a result of that, the hardware that pops out the far side of that will necessarily be different hardware because it's defined by different decisions and different weightings of what's important and what isn't. 2024 is about not just the team as an organisation, but also the drivers, both of whom are facing questions. One of the most notable is what happens to Lewis Hamilton. A 2-year win drought would have seemed unimaginable for a driver who had previously finished first 103 times. But that is the truth for the 7-time world champion entering 2022. Winning a crown has never been more difficult. Max Verstappen and Red Bull have achieved a remarkable car-driver synergy not seen since Hamilton and Mercedes, or Michael Schumacher and Ferrari before that, and there is every sign that the Dutchman will only improve in 2024. Then there is the age factor. Hamilton turned 39 this month, and if he wins this year's title, he would become the oldest winner since Juan Manuel Fangio in 1951. Of course, we've seen drivers perform at a high level later in their careers, see Fernando Alonso. But after 2 years without a win, the issue of whether Hamilton still has it is genuine. Wolff believes there is only one answer. Clearly yes, and I emphasize that strongly, Wolff said when asked if Hamilton could win another title. There is a reason why Lewis has broken all records and won 7 world championships, because his skill is on a higher level. If we give him a good car that he can trust, he can get back in front of everyone. Hamilton is striving for what may be his final accomplishment in a great career, and winning the title in 2024 would be his crowning achievement. But he isn't the only one driving the W15 next year. Before George Russell came at Mercedes in 2022, there was anticipation of how a perceived stronger test for Hamilton would fare. That's not to imply Valtteri Bottas was a slacker. In their 99 races together, the Finn finished ahead of Hamilton only 25 times. Russell then was something new, and by 2022, it appeared that some supporters had gotten their desire. The young Brit ended 35 points ahead of Hamilton, claiming the team's isolated victory, but 2023 proved to be a roadblock in his career. The circumstances of the 2023 season showed that Russell's success in 2022 was due to his Williams-taught expertise making the most of a weak car. When the car improved marginally in 2023, Hamilton seized control. It was a theme not lost on Russell, who acknowledged to having a rough year, but the issue now is which of 2022 and 2023 actually represented Russell. It was revealing in Wolff's statements that he championed Hamilton as their best chance of victory, but 2024 is an opportunity for Russell, whom Wolff also praised, to prove that he is more than simply an effective teammate. The 2024 season has the potential to be one of the most important in Mercedes' 14-year comeback to the grid, and to achieve the best result, they're betting everything they have on their new design, supervised by James Allison. This results in Mercedes dealing with thousands and thousands of components on a daily basis as preparations for the W15 launch accelerate. Mercedes hopes that their new challenger will put them back in contention for race wins and potentially a world championship, but the first and most important challenge is preparing the car. And their chief operating officer praised Mercedes staff for how they have approached their work. There are literally thousands and thousands of components arriving, going through inspection and levels of testing, Thomas stated on Mercedes' official website. Then they're built into various sub-assemblies for the test and development department, who'll put them through tests for fatigue, reliability, and performance. It's a really intense time for people in the factory because these departments are operating on shift patterns 24/7. People show huge levels of commitment. There's so much going on and everything must come together for these deadlines. It's crucial at this time of year to stick to the timeframes and leave no stone unturned. We know that's what's required to put us in the best condition to go testing and racing. Otherwise, we'll find problems further down the line that have a much bigger impact. We're always trying to find that balance between speed and quality. We've worked hard for years on behaviours in the team and making sure we have a defined set of values. It's really this time of year where it comes together. Everyone is in the factories and each department is an expert in what they do. But to deliver the car, it relies on every department interacting so closely together. Everything is done respectfully but very fast. There's a line of trust in each area. There's never finger pointing. If anyone has an issue, they'll fix it. And if they need help, they'll come and ask. And with all these new parts and the new vision provided by Allison, Mercedes feels it can beat Red Bull in 2024. Allison expressed confidence that the gap can be bridged. We are hopeful that the lesser characteristics of the rear wing and handling will be a bit more preferable for us. We've only seen that in the simulations for now, but it's plausible that we've made some gains on the rear wing. And then you also have all the regular work to make the car lighter, give it more downforce and hopefully get a little bit more power by calibrating the engine. You can still do that under the current regulations. What do you think? Will Mercedes be able to create a race-winning car?